Welcome to the SMBAdvertising podcast. My name is Mike Damjanovic and I'm the host of this very special podcast, which is focusing on marketing and advertising. So today we have a very special guest, someone that I've known for the last 6 years, Elise Karlsen Bye. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you're joining us from Telenor today, which is where you're working. Thank you so much for joining us. Since the last time I met you, I think it's been about 6 years since we've actually met face to face. You've had quite a career.
Thanks.
So following along, you started working at Norway's first agency, which was dedicated for inbound marketing, funnily enough called Inbound. And then after that, you went to a company called Avidly.
Yep.
And what was it that you worked with primarily at Inbound and Avidly?
Yeah, I worked with very many different companies within B2B and B2C. And I did only one thing, and that's inbound marketing, because that was what we did. So many of them had other agencies that helped them with other types of marketing as well, but we did focus on solely inbound marketing. So I helped a lot of companies to start their inbound journey and keep working on inbound marketing with the different companies. And it was really interesting to be working at the start of my career with so many different industries as well, because you learn so much. There's a lot of different companies, different industries, different target groups. You learn a lot to work in agencies like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then for the last almost 4 years, then you've been at Telenor.
Yes.
And what are you working there, and what's your position at Telenor?
Yeah, they initially hired me to start their inbound marketing strategy, because they didn't do inbound when I started there, and they didn't even have the systems in place to do inbound marketing. Like, you know, many they use HubSpot. Telenor uses Marketing Cloud and Salesforce. So I was hired to start the inbound marketing strategy for them, together with a big group of people that was working together to get this started. And it takes time in big companies like Telenor, but I think we have a good foundation now, and people are really invested in doing inbound as a part of the B2B strategy. Amazing.
So obviously today's podcast or episode is to do with inbound marketing.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we have no one better to talk to, no better expert to talk to than yourself when it comes to inbound marketing. So perhaps we could start with your explanation about, what is inbound marketing?
Yeah, sure. So inbound marketing is all about reaching your ideal customers. It's a digital marketing strategy that focuses on the entire buyer's journey, not only converting leads to sales, but actually reaching them in the awareness stage, guiding them through consideration, decision, and then delight. So it's the complete opposite to pushy, outbound, sales-focused marketing. And it's supposed to be helpful. Your ideal customers, which we call personas, are supposed to feel like you are a trustworthy company, and they will find information at your website or in your channels to help them make decisions. And you use tools such as blogging, which is maybe what inbound marketing is most known for, but also videos. Your website is really important. Ads are a big part of inbound marketing for most companies. And quizzes, webinars, seminars, a lot of different tools depending on your company and your customers. And you try to guide them all the way through and just be helpful, just be there for them. And SEO work is also a big part of inbound, where you try to be there when someone has a problem. And you need to create content for the entire buyer's journey, which is very hard for many companies because they want to talk about their products and why they are the best. But you need to be there at the very beginning. What need does your ideal customer have that starts their buyer's process?
So it sounds, based on your explanation then, or your definition, it's more about guiding an individual or a company towards making a choice rather than forcing them to make a choice.
Yes.
Or trying to force them,
Yeah.
which is never a good idea.
Mm.
That's great. So, as you know, both in Adline but also this advertising podcast, we're focused on small business owners, small and medium-sized business owners. So if you are a small business owner or a medium-sized business owner, should you be putting effort into inbound marketing?
It depends. Inbound is not for everyone. So, but it's quite simple to figure out if your company is a good fit, because it's basically a simple rule that says if you sell a product or a service that requires your customers to do research before they buy, usually it means that what you sell has a high value, for example, 1,000 kroners or more, depending on your ideal customers and your company, then yeah, inbound marketing is definitely something that could be a good fit for you. But also, not all companies are ready to do inbound. You need to be committed to spend time on the strategy, because it takes a lot of time and you need to have interest in both content creation, website development, running ads, and of course leads management, and have a good cooperation between sales and marketing so that they can actually handle leads in a good way. So you need to be invested and have time for it as well. It's not a one-off campaign. It's a long-term strategy.
It's a long-term strategy, yeah. So I think we have a question about that later on from one of our listeners.
Yeah.
But obviously you have now worked with both B2C and B2B in many different industries, as you mentioned. But could you outline some of the key elements that you've seen that businesses are getting wrong when it comes to actually implementing or doing inbound marketing?
Yeah.
And perhaps shed a bit of light of how they could improve on that.
Yeah, we see a lot of mistakes being made by companies that starts with inbound marketing, and I can take you through a few of them. First of all, when you learn about inbound marketing, let's say you have listened to a podcast like this, or you've been attending a webinar or seminar, and you get so excited, like really ready to just go back to the office and start creating content, right? Yeah. Don't do it. You need to prepare. You need to be ready to create the correct content in the correct format, post it at the correct places, promote it at the correct places, and to do this, you need to prepare. So most agencies, when they start with new clients, they do a pre-project, which lasts a couple of months, where they do preparation for you. And you can do this yourselves as well if you're invested and have time and the knowledge to do it. But you need to do research. Who are your ideal customers or the personas? What is their buyer's journey like? Where do they find information? What questions do they have? And content workshops, and involve other people in your company. It's not a marketing thing. It's a company thing. So you need to involve sales, customer service. People that have direct contact with your customers are ideal and very important to include in the beginning of doing inbound marketing. So that's one mistake. Another one is not having a realistic timeline. It takes up to 12 months. I'm sorry. It takes up to 12 months to see the results that you want to see. And usually people are used to running campaigns with a specific start and end date. And inbound isn't like that. You have a start date, yes, but it's supposed to be what we in Telenor call evergreen campaigns. It's supposed to be living forever, ideally. And you need to be working continuously on improving your content, like updating existing content, creating new content. And when you work with the entire customer journey, from awareness to consideration, decision, and delight, you need to create content for each of those steps, and it takes time to create the entire journey. It doesn't help to just do the final steps. You need to create content for every step, and you need to create content for maybe one or two personas, your ideal customers. So it takes a lot of time to set up the entire thing and to gain the results you want.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 24 months or so,
yeah,
I think here in Adline we've spoken and also worked with almost 900 different customers in around 19 different countries. And one of the things that we've learned is that very often someone that perhaps has never worked with advertising or inbound marketing of course, they're only interested in the conversions that they can get here and now. And they may have tried many different things. They may have tried a marketing agency before us. They may have tried to do it themselves, or a marketing guru. And then they come and it doesn't work because we've tried that, for a couple of months, and we're not getting these immediate conversions. But if I understand you correctly, then by implementing a comprehensive inbound marketing strategy, you're actually going to be reaching out to potential customers that are maybe not even aware that they need your product or service, or that your company even exists, and then you're following them up until they're at a stage where actually they're like, of course, this is the only choice for me.
Yes, correct.
Okay, perfect.
And you have a few more mistakes that people make, and that is personas, that they don't really include personas in everything they do. And they need to do that to do a really good inbound marketing campaign. Like, you need to not only think about personas when you create content, but when you write an email, or when you reach out to a lead. If you're working sales and you reach out to a lead, you're not familiar with the person or the company that you're calling. If you're familiar with your personas, you have a lot of more insights, and you know more about what words to use and what problems to address. So think about personas in everything you do. That's an advice. And then there's this cooperation between sales and marketing. And I know it's a big challenge in many companies, both small and larger companies. If you have done marketing, inbound marketing, you're starting to generate leads, and you send them over to sales, and you're like, yes, my job is done. Now let's just wait to see what happens. If sales don't follow up within a specific time, and here time is the essence, right? You need to follow up quite quickly before a lead turns cold. Then the lead generation isn't worth anything if sales don't follow up. And also the other way around. If you as a marketer keep pushing bad quality leads over to sales and they do follow them up, it's just a matter of time before they decide this is not worth our time, right? So you need a good cooperation between sales and marketing. And that takes us back to including them in the beginning of doing inbound marketing and creating the strategy, because sales have a lot of good knowledge about the customers because they actually talk to the customers, right? They meet them, maybe in person even. And you as a marketer, most likely you don't meet them as much. So talk to sales, get them on board on inbound marketing from the beginning, make them feel ownership to the strategy as well. And I would actually have a written contract between sales and marketing that says sales commits to reaching out to the leads within a certain time frame, and marketing commits to creating leads of a certain value or quality. And of course, in the beginning, you don't know what quality your leads are, but then you need feedback from sales. So have regular meetings with sales and marketing, that both of you feel that this is important and not something I just do for the other departments. Do work together with sales and marketing.
So that's the difference then between marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads.
Yes.
I mean, I come from the sales side, and I work together with Carl Wilhelm. He works on the marketing side. Actually, we haven't had any strife or friction between us, but we have had multiple conversations between the difference between a marketing qualified lead and a sales qualified lead.
Yes.
So that's really excellent feedback. Is there anything else?
One last thing, and that is that people can get too hung up on the rules of inbound marketing. Like, inbound marketing is a methodology. You can read a lot about it on, for example, HubSpot's website, and kind of this is awareness, this is consideration, this is decision and delight, and you work with a funnel, you work with all the different terminologies and the different parts of inbound marketing. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's about what works for your company. So if you feel like this part of inbound isn't for me, then don't do it. And if you feel like I want to implement something from a different strategy, do that. Run tests and see if it works. What's so great about digital marketing, not only inbound but digital, is that you can run analysis on everything. You can quite quickly see if this works for you or not. So don't get too hung up on the rules of the methodology. Just test and see what works for you.
Perfect. So then we have actually a question from one of our listeners. And this is a question that we also get almost every week. And that is, how long should it be before I start to see results? You touched on it before, but maybe you could fill out a bit more on that question.
We usually say about 12 months, and it depends on a lot of different things, like how invested are you, how much time are you going to spend on inbound marketing. So I think 12 months is a good timeline to be focusing on. And then I see it a lot that marketing knows about this 12 months, but the other stakeholders in the company, they don't know, or they just expect results faster. Even though you try to say 12 months, they are like, okay, but you started last month. Where's the results? So what I would recommend is to just make sure the entire company, everyone involved, should know the 12-month rule, but focus on other KPIs in the beginning as well. Like, don't just say, sorry, no sales qualified leads yet. Have them focus on other KPIs, such as blog subscribers, or how many watched your latest video, or how's your success rate for your workflows and the emails, open rate, click rate. Like, there are so many other KPIs you can focus on in the beginning to make sure that stakeholders and maybe especially management feel like, okay, we're moving in the right direction.
And I think especially if you are contacting someone at the very early stage, then perhaps they are already using a similar product or service, and they have a contract that doesn't run out for 6 or 7 months.
Good point.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be following up with them.
Yeah.
But it does maybe mean that maybe sales is a bit too early for sales to take over, but marketing should certainly continue to reach out to them with this inbound marketing.
So when they are ready to think about renewing their contract with the other company, then you are top of mind, right? So it's about being in the top of mind of your customers. And one company that I worked with as a consultant, they focused a lot on just building subscriber base for their blog. And what we saw when we did analysis of the subscribers is that they buy more often, and of course then also with more money. They spend more money with your company and they buy more than once. So just by staying on top of mind helps you gain more customers over time.
Perfect. So one final question to round off with. So has something changed during the pandemic for companies doing inbound marketing?
Yeah, I think so. Well, during the pandemic, a lot of industries changed. Like, people working in offices, they were sent home to work from home. People working in stores, they might have closed for a while, but some kept being open. And my mom, for example, she works in a shoe store, and she owns a shoe store in a small town in Hardanger. And she actually had to start doing her meetings with suppliers and purchase shoes for the next season online, which she had never done before. So I think if you do inbound marketing already and you have your personas written out and you know them quite well, I think now is the time to take a new look at your personas. What has changed? Do they have new needs? Do they have new challenges? Maybe they have changed so that you can reach them in new ways. And maybe even you can use some new channels. Maybe now is the time to do webinars, because now they're familiar with being online and doing things online that they might not have been before. So I think my advice for people in companies that does inbound already is to take a new look at your personas.
Well, now we've come to the end of this episode, and it's been incredibly insightful. So thank you again so much, Elise, for coming in and talking about inbound marketing. There's a lot that we can start to implement, and if you are a company that falls in to what Elise has said should be using inbound marketing, then you can read everything that we've spoken about. You can even watch this and listen to this podcast again and start to implement your inbound marketing. We're going to link to your LinkedIn page so that people that are watching this can also connect with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.